Welcome to Business Talk. I am Chanaka De Silva. Today on our program we have Dr. Seba Jayamaha, who is an engineer by profession and also an entrepreneur. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Chanaka.
Today we want to discuss, for the benefit of our viewers, a very interesting topic, I think, which you have always intrigued me about: how to make money work for you, and also how to retire in 20 years. That I think our people have to know. Could you tell me how you started and something briefly?
When I came first few times to Sri Lanka, after I left to US, I saw that people in Sri Lanka are really working very hard. In USA, we believe that always you have to work smart. If you work hard at the end of 20 or 30 years, you get basic needs. You cannot retire with everything you want. And most of the time you have long hours and you get no benefits. Somebody else is making money for them. So any owner of a company will always see their employees work hard, they make the money. So from USA, I always gathered one thing: you don't want to work for somebody, you want to work for yourself. That is the only way out if you want to retire fast.
Very interesting perspective, because now everybody wants to work, they have to work. Now when you started there initially, working after you studied and completed your studies, what were the first few things you did that sort of paved the way for you to sort of make actually money work for you? How did you go about it?
When I came back here, I met this girl and then I got married and I decided, okay, I'm going to settle down in Sri Lanka. Then what we did was, we did some simple things. First of all, she used to be a banker. So I asked her, do you want to be the CEO of that bank? She said no. And then I told, okay, then let's start something different. But when you talk about different, you cannot go what others do and then assume that everything is going to work for you. You have to come up with a basic plan which works for you, and you don't spend like a crazy person. Main thing is investments. So in USA also we believe if you want to make money, real estate is the answer, or stock exchange. Since I didn't know anything about stock exchange, so I thought it's related to my field, structural engineering, so I'll stick to real estate. So that's how everything started.
Yeah, if you could tell me some of the first ventures on real estate, how you did it.
Okay, when I came here first, I was looking for some lands and I didn't have much money in my hand. Probably I had about $1 million I have saved and brought, but I know how to make this $1 million work for like 10 million. So one person, real estate agent, came up to me and showed me a particular land. I saw that land. It was about roughly 5 acres land in Wattala. So I went and spoke to this owner, and then that owner told me, okay Seba, if you want. She agreed. I showed her. She was asking, I showed her how I could give her more, but with a small deposit, and when one lot gets sold with the house, then I pay her. Like that she agreed. Right. Because she has been trying to sell that land for years. Many Sri Lanka's rich people have come and looked at it, but it didn't work out. So she agreed to go for agreement. So all I did was I put $1 million down for about 25 million project, and it worked out perfect.
What was the system of the project? I mean, what?
Okay, what we did was we bought a land. It was a coconut estate, and then we did the roads, and then we did the water, electricity, everything. We did everything, all the infrastructure. Then I came up with 5 designs of houses. So we were going to build the house and sell it with the house. So I was managed to do that very efficiently, because I do not need a structural engineer, I don't need a civil engineer, I don't need a quantity survey, I don't need a bank to finance me. So because of that, I could do it at a very, very low price, and I was able to sell them very, very quickly.
So that the whole project would have taken you how long? How many?
We finished that project under 1 year.
Right.
Yeah. Then from there I saw that huge opportunity, because my cost was so low and I was selling at a good price. Immediately I went for a bigger project in Kotugoda to build 100 houses there.
Right.
So that's how we progressed.
On the same principle?
Same principle.
Right. Now, one thing you have been talking about is how to retire in 20 years. I think everyone, when they start working, after some few years, they always think of retirement.
Yeah.
But then to get there is the point.
Yeah.
What do you say is the plans that someone should put down
Yeah, see, the
to sort
thing
of
is,
have a plan to retire?
yeah, normally Sri Lankan people have a way of doing things. There are basic ways. They do O level, they do A level, they go and get a job, or they go to the university and then get a job and then get married, and always want to work for somebody because they are so scared to do something by themselves. I think the Sri Lankan culture has not built them self-confidence. The key word is self-confidence. If you are a self-confident person and if you have a plan, you cannot fail. But in Sri Lanka, it's very different because people always, if they make $1, they want to spend $10. I've seen that most failures come because of their greed, show off, and always selfish. See, I want all people around me to be successful. So if they want to do that, they cannot follow what everybody is doing. They have to do something different.
Yeah, when it comes to something different, now coupled with the fact that you say that the people have little confidence, to venture out is the risk.
Yeah.
That's the risk you're talking about. How should a person go about it? I mean, we'll say there are people who want to do it. They are a little, of course, cautious.
Yeah.
But if they had to really step out and, what would be the safe way to go?
See, for example, now if I did follow the way everybody does it, me and my wife, when we were getting married, I had about $1 million. So I could easily spend that $1 million and had a big wedding. 20 years ago, wedding with $1 million could have been a wedding of today of 10 million. So we could have a nice wedding, everybody will eat and go, and I will go and work for somebody and I just follow the normal way. Instead of that, what I did was, I didn't have a wedding. I thought to myself, I sat down with my wife, had a plan. Okay, now you are quitting the bank, let's do something together and we'll have a plan. 20 years we are going to retire. For 20 years, then you have to do things different. Number one, you should never buy a brand new car. That's number one. Here people buy cars and make the bank richer. So I got rid of that. Number two, my plan to make sure, because my father gave me education, he sent all of us to US to educate ourselves. Make sure that both of my kids will go to US. Not to just some junky university somewhere in the corner of an island or some country. To do this, I followed a very simple rule. When my first kid was born, my wife said, okay, we had a little bit money coming in from all this project. So we didn't go and buy a house, we were in a rented house. Even today, after building over 400 houses, I do not have a house. So these are principles that you have to follow. I just rent a house. Why? Because the house I am living is about 30 million bucks. And I am paying only 75,000 rent. So therefore, and I have a palace practically. Therefore, 225,000 I save because I don't own that house. So then next thing is, we each time when one kid was born, we went and bought a land. First one was in Putlam when my kid was born. For 5-6 lakhs, I bought 4 acres in Putlam town. Today it's worth more than 50 million. So that's enough for my kid to go to Stanford for studies. And when the second kid was born, I went to another city, bought 26 acres facing a lagoon. So when that kid is another 4 years down the road, that will be worth also a lot more than that. So then the kids' matters are all sorted out. So then what you do is, all the money you saved, you invest in lands. I only invest in lands. And that also, if anything is sold for $1 in that area, I will find it. Me and my wife sometimes go for weeks, we don't find anything. Sometimes months, we don't find anything. Sometimes a whole year, we will find only one land. But right, we buy for less than 50 cents a dollar. So 4 years later, that's worth 10 folds. So that's how you can retire very easily. So when the 20 years down the road, you will see You have achieved all your dreams. And when kid is ready to go to school, here today in Sri Lanka, they are asking, where can I find the money? I said, I didn't find the money today because kid was not born today. I planned it 20 years ago. It's all simple. So this is how you think different.
Think different. The one thing I want to ask you is now, the interesting thing about not buying a new car and not building a house, because here traditionally you want to own a house.
Yeah.
That's like a symbol of stability.
Yeah.
Where are you? Are you staying for rent or are you in a permanent house? That's almost a cultural thing. And then everyone, especially once you get married, and the in-laws and the relations and all that, they all want to have a new car. And they have to go to either the church or social functions. They have to go in a car, and they will read the number and say, is this, this series or that series, all that. How, now I can see by two simple things you have done, you are making a huge saving, right? I am in total agreement with you. Now, how could you motivate or advise the younger working people? Because I think comparatively starting life is as difficult for everyone as it was so many years ago. It's another generation. How would you advise them to go like that? I mean, like not to, because trying to buying a house is almost like panic buying, and the car is the next thing. They know all the models and what the neighbor has and things like that. How would they go about not doing that? How would you tell them?
Coming from USA, where a place where all cars are very cheap, and when I was there, I used to do so many different type of business. When I came back here and was not using a brand new car, so many people came up to me and asked me many times, when I buying that new car? But me and my wife, we had a deal when we got married. Before we got married, I told, this is my way of living.
Right.
This is my end result. I had the end in mind before I started. See, a lot of people, young people, all they want is, as I told Mr. Chanak earlier, they want to show off.
Yes.
See, if you have show off, jealousy, those type of things built into you, you will never have success. Unless you have done something real good in the last time, so you are getting something new and free. So I didn't get anything free. I didn't get anything from my mother's side or my father's side or my wife's side. So we all did was, we worked very hard, but if you saw the way we worked for last 20 years, you will never believe. Because we two of us were like a machine. But now we don't have to do that. Now money is working for us.
So now your retirement plan has actually worked.
Yeah, it worked perfectly. I knew, actually my target was 20 years, but we retired in about 19 years and maybe few months. So we thought that's enough.
The one thing now, I mean, for everyone to invest in real estate may also not be very easy with today's prices. And as this is an island, it's the scarcity of land, growing things like that. But I also remember you telling me, seeing that the house built, you said like someone can use that experience and go to the new project.
Yeah.
If you can tell something on those lines.
Yeah, it's very simple. Now, wherever you are working, say at the beginning you didn't have any money at all. Now, I'm talking about a person who don't have any money. But what's the most important thing is you have to get the right wife. Because if your wife don't see along your lines, every day nothing but she'll be telling you is, we have to get a new house, we have to get a new house, we have to get a new car, we have to get a new car. When that thing after a while you start believing it. So then all your values will go out of the door. It's very simple thing is, two of you all together go and work somewhere. Okay? When you go and work, and if you deposit all your money to the bank, show that you are getting an income every month. Even if you are getting cash to the hand, if you go and spend it, it's no use. Because when you go to the bank, what they say is, they want to know your repayment capacity. To show this, I have told many of the people, thrice of people today, they are driving nice nanos, because I told this simple theory to them. You deposit both income into the bank and show the bank that you are getting some income.
There's some transaction in the account.
After 6 months, you apply for a loan to buy a house, buy a land and build a house. See, when I tell this to them, what they do is they first go to the architect. You don't need anybody. Today the internet is your architect, your everything.
We are going in for a short break from Business Talk. We will be back discussing this very interesting topic of making the money work for you with Dr. Seba Jayamaha shortly. Welcome back to Business Talk. I am Chanaka De Silva. We are discussing how to make the money work for you with Dr. Seba Jayamaha. Welcome, Dr.
Thank you.
Jayamaha, after the break. You were continuing in a very, very nice point that we stopped about getting money into the bank to show transaction and how people can build up a relationship with the bank. If you would care to elaborate.
Yeah. Then what you can do when you do that for about 6 months to a year, you can go and buy a small piece of land and have a small plan to build a small house. You don't need much money. You know, if both husband and wife working and a decent job, easily you could get 2 to 3 million bucks. And then what you can do is start on the job. You have a good plan. See, your plan should not be for you to live. Your plan should be a marketable house. See, a lot of people when they go to build houses, they build something thinking them in mind. See, now when you are building a house, remember when you are building especially a small house, most marketable house is 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom. And you definitely need a master bedroom with an attached toilet. See, those are the selling points. Some people build 4, 5 rooms, 1 toilet. This is not a marketable house. So you have to understand the concept of a marketable house and also go to the internet, search, go looking for it. When you look, you will see lot of nice designs. You bring the design and then think about it and draw on a piece of paper yourself and see what are the changes you want to do to fit into that land you have. Because maybe your land is not a square one, maybe it's a different. So you can change things, basic things, and then also your main thing is the appearance. You can go again to the internet, you can find front faces. If you go and look for front faces, it will give you so many beautiful looking front faces. Some of them, it looks $1 million house, but it doesn't cost even practically nothing. Do the same thing, same material, just rearrange a little bit. And then once you are half done with the house, if you advertise, you can sell the house. Definitely more than at least 3-4 million in hand. So there I told you how to do the first house. So then you can keep on building 2 houses next time. So if you will go continue the same method. And also in Sri Lanka I have seen lot of guys when they are doing something, they do not show their wife. See, there is a key word why I say this. In case something happens to you, your wife and the children has to go on. In my case, whether I am there or not makes no difference. My wife has learned every step of the way. She knows how to do it, everything. So from the books to the material to everything she knows. She knows how I keep tab of things. So this way easily things can go on. Or suddenly you go out for a vacation, she can handle. So this way it's very easy for you to keep on going. Now you did the first one, you will see after you finish the first one you have done many mistakes. So second one, correct it.
Right.
Then when you finish the 2, you build 4 next time. You saw simple principle could go keep on going. So if you decide to build one house for a year, it will bring you 3 million. Small house, not that expensive. I'm talking about a 10-piece land and maybe about 1,000, 200, 1,400 square feet house. You can easily make 3 million. Divide that by the months. I guarantee that will be more than what you make when you're working.
Definitely the return.
And also you can get a lot of tax breaks also when you are doing these things because you are building for the people, low income people. So this is.
And when you have a bank loan, I think you get some incentive there also. You don't have to pay taxes. One other thing I wonder is now, the internet of course is a very big help and inspiration to a lot of people. Materials you use. Now when we go for exhibitions, there are so much of material, so many variants. Now they are also now talking of reusing certain types of material,
Yeah.
because I mean those days if they break down and crumble some slab or thing concrete, they will just dump it. But now, as I think grade 2 materials they use. What do you think of saving money on using those materials and for your building? What do you think of it?
See now, I will just tell you how I did it. Now in Sri Lanka, especially if you are building a place, you must have a hardware close to your place. Don't try to bring 100 bags of cement and store it. I let the hardware guy do that for me. And I go and tell the hardware guy, I go and tell him that why don't you give me a better deal? I pay cash.
Right.
I don't want any credit. So because I pay cash, I always get a better deal. So, and also when you are picking a hardware, make sure you pick a decent person. Most of the time this sand and stuff, they tell you it's a cube. When it comes there, it's like half a cube. So you also show that you know something. You measure the first time the lorry. So then they will not bring you less next time. So these are small points you can save some money.
Caveat emptor, the buyer must be aware.
Yeah, see the thing is, if today's again, if buyer now say I'm a person, I don't know anything about building, I will first go and read it. Because my father has always told me never do something you don't know. First learn it and then do it.
Very sound advice.
Yeah.
Right. Now from there, now we'll say you come to about average person will say, okay, following some things like that. 10 years down the line after they start working and have a few things like that. Now about you said initially if the idea is something that everyone else has, it's not working for you, yet you should do something new.
Yeah.
What other things or on those lines can you advise people, like just to look for, I mean not
Yeah,
a
see the
specific.
thing is now I was very fortunate when I was in USA. I met this billionaire because my brother worked for that guy and he wanted me to come and see him. So I went and saw him and he really got a liking to me. I didn't know why. So I asked him why you wanted me to come and see you. No, first when I asked him, he told me to give a time, he will be free. So that was really puzzling to me. So I went into that city. First question was, please let me know why you wanted me to tell when I am free. Then he said, well, I have 4 kids, my wife have 4 kids. None of them have done more than high school. So because you got the PhD from Arizona State, the biggest university in USA, I thought, I really need to talk to you. So at that point, when we were talking for hours, maybe 1.5 hours, one point he gave me which changed my life. And that point was, he told me, Seba, if you have idea, invite 10 of your friends, have a meal, discuss the idea. If one agrees, drop the idea.
Drop the idea.
Drop the idea. Because what he thinks is, you must have an idea for it to work for you, only you should be able to see it.
Right.
If others can see, now in Sri Lanka it's the other way.
Yes.
If one put a gram shop, if it's doing good, next guy also opens a gram shop next to it. So that's not the way to go. So you have to have a unique idea if you want to have some end result in a different style.
Yeah, because here also now on the gram shop lines, if you have an idea, you're scared to discuss it.
No, you
Because that
should.
someone will copy it or they will lose it or it will be taken from them or something like that. So then when we come to, I told you like the 10-year level, say like no, retirement is planned for 20 years, no. What do you think the ventures that people could get into? Besides the,
right now,
you are very familiar with the
housing.
real estate and the housing.
Yeah.
But when you just look at around you, you look at the internet, which I mean is a wealth of information on any topic. What would you generally see that people could venture into on very like safe line? Now what you have done is you have charted a very safe and steady course.
Very safe, 100% safe.
Yes. right? It's a very safe energy because now when you go back, why we won't go is because we are scared, right? So it's like catch 22. You won't go because but you want to go also. So you keep coming back. What would you see with your experienced eye that people maybe they could go into?
See, right now I see the major, you can have really lots of money coming in. You can rake in a lot of money. Two different things I see. Number one thing, solar power.
Right.
Solar power. It doesn't cost you much to power a solar, especially a house. You can buy yourself, import these things, and go and fix it at somebody's house, and you can practically make more than 25%. I mean, this is a very low budget thing.
Right.
Because today you can get 200 kVA, 2 kVA less than 400,000. So if you want to import all this stuff, it won't cost you even 2 lakhs. And you go and learn how to do it, how to connect these things. It's not you don't need a rocket scientist.
Right.
No, it's very simple, basic. In 1 week you could learn everything you need to know. Plus, internet has it.
Yes.
It's free. So
Internet is the
Key
information they give, and there's sort of so much. So venture like solar power, doesn't it require like a lot of safety standards for people to know? It's just a cell.
It's by itself. It's a lot of safety is there. They have looked into all these things, and these are not done by children. They are done by very reputed companies, and so that is one way. And another good thing is, at the moment, although it's down, tourism industry. You know, I had lots of my friends I know who were having houses. They are the children have gone out. Now they are all big. They are at universities, so they start renting these houses, rooms.
Right.
At the beginning, they thought it's a joke, but today it's raking in 2-3 lakhs a month doing nothing.
No.
Because I mean, those rooms are there whether they give it out or not.
Yes.
To do little like that is also a good idea, you know.
Where they can, yes, because now someone told me from Kolpiti Junction to Mamalapitiya, there are something like 300 or 400 small rooms that they are giving.
Yeah.
Right, and with the tourism, like backpackers or things. Now there's a capsule hotel also has opened here, things like that. Now, how about a venture of like someone who, I know people who look after properties when people migrate, or like you said, the children study and migrate.
Yeah.
Parents follow them, but
Yeah.
the old property is still here. Things like that. The level of care and things like that. Are those good ventures for people to go?
Definitely. That means you don't have to invest any money.
Any money.
All you have to do is find few properties,
Yes.
and you just spread the word around your friends. They will have enough people. Or even if you put ad in the internet, enough people are there who has nobody to take care of their property.
Yeah, because as you said, there is no capital downlay.
No.
All you have to go and do supervise, check, see that things are in order. And
But if you venture into this tourism and you want to give a part of your house or rent rooms, very important thing for Sri Lankan is, because I have seen 9 out of 10 people does not know how to keep a house.
right.
They keep all their for 50, 60-year-old newspapers, and everything is inside there under the bed. You can't keep a house like that. You will fail in style. You got to have basic furniture, and you have to have very clean and neat and tidy. So this is a very, very key area, because one wrong comment will ruin your business.
Yes.
So this is very important, that you have a clean and neat place.
Because the social media now is so active.
Yeah.
They don't spare anyone.
Yeah.
Big hotel, small hotel, anything.
Yes.
Someone doesn't like, they will post a
They will
comment
post
and
it,
people
yeah.
will see.
At the same time, if you do it right,
Yes.
also they will post.
Yes, definitely.
So that I know a lot of people who have got a lot of business just from that internet.
Yes, internet has helped. Now, what do you think of now places like the fire safety, electricity, those things? What do you think of those situations that may, like, people would have to look after if they are, now when you're building a house, the level and quality of it, because the cost can't go too high.
No.
Then it can't be level at where it is dangerous.
Yeah.
How would a person navigate through that?
See, it's very simple if you learn a little bit about it before you start.
Right.
All this information is on the net again. you know. And especially when you are building a small house, all you have to make sure you have a water outlet outside and for the rear garden and the front garden.
Okay.
In case of fire, so you have water, because water supply should be available. And in Sri Lanka, most of the time, this will happen in the kitchen,
Right.
because they forget to close the gas line.
Gas.
So, but nowadays they have all these safety switches. If the gas is just going, it kicks by
No,
itself.
yes.
So, good for you to put something like that. And very rarely you'll see a house on fire.
Yes.
Building is on fire, that's a totally different area. That needs a lot of expertise, fire protection and water, all that has to be perfect. For somebody to start, you don't need all this stuff.
Yeah, because now, especially if you're going to build a house, which is not too expensive, and the other thing is, like you said, when people go to rent rooms,
Yeah,
and generally these houses are old houses.
yeah,
They are done up but neatly
Yeah.
kept.
yeah,
There are certain regulations which I think a basic traveler foreigner would want to look for.
definitely. Yeah,
You know, because they are used to
Yeah.
what we might think of a fire extinguisher as a luxury,
Yeah.
would be actually a basic thing in
Yeah.
those countries,
Yeah.
which are very available and in
Yeah.
obvious places. So that's why I wanted to know about that. Other thing is, now lot of people pay a lot of money to buy a car or some vehicle. Then again, there is a huge shortage of transport in this country. And again, there are a massive amount of people who have leased and bought it. Some think it's an investment, you can earn something. Where they, in terms, like buying a land, they pay a little, pay a lease, try to, that sort of venture, what do you think in getting your money to work for you?
See, the thing is, if you want to buy a car on some kind of credit, I will suggest you go to your bank, talk to the manager, have a good rapport with that person, and get a car loan. So you are paying just like you are paying for a house on the reducing balance.
Balance, right.
Otherwise, if you take a lease, even after 2 years you want to settle it, you will have to pay more than you borrowed. So
Yes.
that's my basic rule of thumb. I mean, it could vary.
Yes.
I'm just telling in a short nutshell.
Yes, so then at any point you want to get rid of it, you have actually paid for what you used.
Yeah.
And it's a
Because
net
see
value.
now, for example, say somebody bought 5 vehicles on lease for tourism. With what happened few days back, tourism is dead. Now how are you going to pay? Now who is going to pay those leases? But if you had it on the reducing balance, you can find the money and pay and finish it and sell it. Because you are paying a lot less than you would pay on a lease.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Jayamaha. We here can conclude another interesting interview on Business Talk with Dr. Seba Jayamaha today, who enlightened us on how we could best use the money, retire in 20 years, and also how we could cautiously invest what little we have and get a good return. On Business Talk again, we hope to have another guest very shortly. Until we meet again, thank you.